Hello, my name is Savage, and I'm the creative director here at Alliant Motorsports. And today we're going to take a look at how to do all these cool animations that allow you to both announce the driver of the day voting during your stream, as well as actually show your audience the results, the very same results that they had themselves voted for. So there are two animations that do this. One, as you just saw, announces the vote, and that you should play within about 6 or 7, maybe 5 laps left before the end of the race. And then the second one is this one that you're seeing now, which actually shows the vote results. First things first, go to this gear icon settings, go to hotkeys, and there's going to be some important hotkeys you're going to need to copy down. Go to scenes, open up live game capture, and scroll down. Ignore the stuff at the top. This is standings, and that'll be in a different video. Go to where it says push to show F3 DOTD announcement. DOTD stands for driver of the day. So these hotkeys you have to copy down exactly as they are here. If you don't, something will break. The only exception is this F10. You can bind this to whatever you want. I can make this Control Q, for instance. I'm going to keep it F10 for now, but this one you can change. That's the first scene. But I'm going to scroll through these and copy them down. Make sure you're very, very diligently careful to see which one says push to show and which one says just show, because they're two very different things and you don't want to mix them up. So here we go. I'm just going to scroll through these slowly, and you guys can copy them down. Pause the video if you need to copy these down into your own hotkeys exactly as they are here. And that's all of them. Okay, so now that we have these all set up, we can hit done here. Once you're done doing that, you're going to want to go to your live game capture scene here and then open up the folder that says driver of the day. You need to make sure that these two globe icon sources are in fact in the folder. One will be called winner highlight, the other one is top 3. Sometimes the graphics package won't import them, so you might have to actually add them yourself. To do that, you hit plus and then you add this browser source. And then once you do that, just make sure you name them accordingly. And if you did have to add them post factum, you're going to want to go back to hotkeys and again assign hotkeys to them, because they just won't be there in the hotkeys window until you add them. So you have to specify the URL for these. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our Discord, go again to our stream setup, and then in the stream setup, we are going to open up the dynamic graphics page. And the dynamic graphics page, we're going to need to select driver of the day either here or here. And that'll take us to what looks like a blank screen with a drop down. This is important to select the right division. Whichever one you are commentating and want the driver of the day results for, that's the one you should select. So if I'm commentating AMA Division 1, I'll select this drop down. If I'm commentating Formula 2, I don't need to send into OneDrive. I will go to Formula 2. And you can see these screens look sort of similar to what the graphics look like. This is the capture source. And from here, you need to go up to your browser, to your navigation bar, copy this entire link, go to your Streamlabs, and open up each of these sources individually. Let's open up the winner highlight first, paste that link into this window. Then make sure the width is 1920, the height is 1080, and the refresh browser when scene becomes active is checked. Hit done, go down to this one, do the exact same thing, paste the same link, and then make sure all these variables they all make sense. Then go back and right click on this first one, winner highlight, go to filters and make sure you have a crop pad filter on it already. It should already be there. In case it isn't, hit plus, select crop pad, and hit done. Now, this crop pad filter, make sure it has these exact numbers in it. If it has very specific looking numbers in there and the preview looks good, maybe they will change in the future. But for the time being, these are the numbers, and this is what the preview should look like. If the numbers are weird, you'll see that if I set 0, for instance, for this one, the preview will look weird. So I believe that was 555. So hit done. And then on this one, same thing, right click, filters, make sure these numbers also make sense. Make sure the preview looks something like this. One other thing to check is that sometimes these browser sources don't get placed in the correct position. So once you've cropped them, and this has to happen after you've cropped them, check their distances from the edges of the screen. So for the winner highlight, my distance from the top is 774 pixels, from the left 399, from the right 402, and from the bottom 71. For the top three, my distance from the top is 788, from the left 710, from the right 445, and from the bottom 87. Make sure you could just move them around with your arrow keys. Make sure they're unlocked. You can move them around and then just lock them in once they're in the correct position. Okay, go back to your link. The second thing you need from here is to click on this button. Click on it. Hit OK. And what this does is this gives you the link to the actual survey. If I open up a new tab and paste it, you'll see this is what our audience will go to vote. So this is the button that you click on when you're ready to share the voting link with your audience in the Twitch stream chat. So all you need to do is click on this button. It automatically puts it on your clipboard, hit OK, and then go to your stream, paste that link when there's about 5 or 6 laps left. Okay, then one last thing we have to do is actually get our macros working. So the first animation is very simple. All you need to do is press and hold the button that you mapped for, in my case, it's F10, and you have to hold it. You can't just press it because it'll disappear if you release it. You see that? So you press and hold, and it plays, and you can just wait and hold until the animation's done. We're not going to do that right now because we're impatient. For the second one, however, that one, the results relies on hitting specific buttons with very specific intervals, and for that we need a macro, because if we try to do it ourselves and just time it using our brains, we won't get it right. So this can be done in 2 ways, and I will explain both. One is if you have a Stream Deck, or if you have a modern mouse and keyboard that runs on a software that supports macros, such as, for instance, Razer Synapse, then you can do the first approach, and that's what I'm going to show you first. And if you don't have either of those things, then don't worry, I've got you covered in a second. Just be patient. So I'll use my Stream Deck as an example. And I have 2 buttons set up for these functions. The first one is the vote announcement. Pretty simple. It's just an F10. And then it's just a hotkey. And then the second one is the results. And this is a multi-action function. So let's open that up. And this is the order in which you are going to set these in. It's going to look the same in your Synapse or whatever other hotkey macro software you have. So the first button is Control B, then a 1600 millisecond delay, then Alt B, then a 12,600 millisecond delay, then Shift X and Shift Z with no delay in between them, then a 9,100 millisecond delay, then Shift comma, a 1,000 millisecond delay, and Shift period, and that's done. That's it. Now, if you do not have a Stream Deck or macro software, here's what you're going to do. Go back to your Discord stream setup, go to the Hotkeys and Macros link. This will open up one of the folders on our drive. You need to download this file. So hit download on that, and we're going to cancel because we already have it downloaded. And then you will need a program called AutoHotkey. So look it up and download it. It is open source. It does not give you a virus. It's very reputable and has been around for over a decade. So, it's really useful. So hit the download current version, and once you download it, install it. Once it's installed, you don't have to do anything special. Just find the file you downloaded, right-click on it, run as administrator. Yes. And then you should always be running Streamlabs as administrator. And then once that is done, then press F11. You do not need to hold it, just press it. And that animation will play out for you automatically. It might glitch a little bit depending on how fast it loads these things, but that's not a big deal. Now, that is the hotkey at work, and it will do all of that stuff for you automatically that we set up for our Stream Deck manually. That's already there. I coded it for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is if for whatever reason the hotkey F11 is clashing with something on your system, you can change it. So if you right-click on this script and hit Edit Script, it'll just open it up in your notepad. And you can see here the button that calls the action is right up here in front of these 2 colons. So if you want to change this to, a different F key, F2, which does conflict with F1, so don't do that. But, something else, you can do that. If you want to have it be, Control K or Control, bracket or something, make sure that you first check all of the hotkeys in here to make sure it doesn't clash with anything, because for instance, Control bracket is actually going to clash. So make sure you first check, but then you can edit it in here. And keep in mind that the syntax for these buttons is maybe a little bit weird, but Hotkey has documentation for all of this. So if you look up AutoHotkey syntax, then you can go and look this stuff up, and it's actually you could go to hotkeys and you can see, for instance, if you want to do Alt W, it'll actually be !W in here, and so on and so forth. So you can set this to be whatever hotkey you want as long as it doesn't break anything else within Streamlabs. I do think F11 should work pretty well. So that's it for this. If you have any questions about any of these processes, don't hesitate to contact the creative director for AM. But until then, well, thank you for streaming for us, and have a great stream. Thanks so much.